Hey everyone, welcome back to the piano bench. Today I want to have a look at this Orange Pi computer that I just got off AliExpress. This is supposed to be a more powerful and featureful version of like a Raspberry Pi single board computer. So this is how it arrived. And there's the board and a piece of paper. Regulatory compliance and safety information. So I think the funniest thing about this board is the positioning of the components. You almost never see things like this that are not on a 90 degree or 45 degree angle. So that's pretty silly. And it's not just these chips on the back. You can see all these resistors are just thrown on, just like someone sneezed. I guess those are 45, but I mean that's like 5 degrees. These are all different. Really interesting. Really creative is a charitable way of putting it. So it's got a lot of ports. It has HDMI, 3 USB-A ports, Ethernet. Well, it's got an 1/8" mini plug, which is for both audio and video output, an onboard microphone, 3-pin UART TTL connection, barrel jack for power, power switch, ribbon cable for a camera, some sort of micro USB, maybe that's just for power, I'm not sure. IR sensor, which is quite interesting. I went to the orangepi.org website to download the software image and found that the Google Drive link didn't work. So I had a look at their website and yeah, sure enough, there's no href for that link, so that's just a fake link. Doesn't work at all. I tried the Baidu Cloud link, and that was a bit trickier, but I clicked around until I was able to download the image. And I got an image that decompressed, and I was able to DD that over to a SD card. The barrel jack for this board is a little bit unusual size. I had to rummage around all of these wall warts at Vancouver Hackspace, and I did finally find one jack that fit, but it was the wrong voltage, so I had to splice that onto a different power supply. So I made the mistake of booting this up off camera, and I had all sorts of trouble. At first, I just couldn't get that Arch Linux image to boot. I had this thing plugged into a nice 5-volt bench power supply. I had a HDMI monitor connected, even a keyboard plugged in, and I just couldn't see any evidence of it booting. So I went to the orangepi.org forums and trudged through there for a while, and finally I was able to find another image to download, a Debian image. I also had the idea of not just relying on HDMI to see if it's booting, but also to monitor the serial port out of this UART header here. So that Debian image actually worked. I could see the boot messages coming out of the serial port, and it got maybe 2/3 of the way through the boot sequence, and then it just froze and stopped. And I noticed the board got really hot right here. There was a little chip getting quite hot. So I shut it off, checked everything, turned it back on, slowly turned up the current limiting, until, in fact, it let out the magic blue smoke. So the chip was toast. So with nothing to lose, tonight I'm going to try one last time, and I'm probably going to just remove that chip. I think it might be a voltage regulator of some sort. Maybe I can feed the board the different voltages that it needs directly. So in addition to 5 volts, I could also feed it 3.3 and just remove its voltage regulator. So we'll see. So I plugged in the power again just to see what would happen. It's drawing about 2 amps at 5 volts, almost 3 amps at this point, and it's smoking. And there's the component with a crater out of it there, sort of the top right corner. And so I removed it. Okay, so now that we've removed that component, I'm going to plug in the power again and see if it draws anything. Okay, so maybe 150 milliamps. Let's see if we have any power coming in on these pins. So yeah, we have 5 volts coming straight in. We also have 3.3 on this rail, so that's a good sign. But it still doesn't seem to be booting. I wonder what that device did. So that didn't work. I was able to get the voltage regulator off, and then when I put 5 volts in, it drew just a small amount of current, and I got 5 volts on the 5 volt bus, but I also still got 3.3 volts on that bus. So if that was indeed a voltage regulator, maybe it was reducing down to another voltage bus for the like 1.8 volts or something like that. I'm not sure, but at this point I'm done screwing around with this, and I think I'll just try to get my money back from AliExpress if possible.